For Wii U fans everywhere, the hourglass is running out. The final death nail in the Wii U's coffin will be when the Wii U eShop closes in March 2023. But coming up very soon, the Wii U eShop ends credit card support everywhere on May 23rd of 2022. The time is now. If there's ever been anything you want on the Wii U eShop, you better kick your ass into gear and scoop up the games that you want on the eShop before it's too late. Today, we look at a console that tugs on nostalgia strings, possibly harder than any other video game console ever created. Today, we look at the virtual console games on the Wii U eShop for the Nintendo 64.
Everybody, Dibiase, the $1 Million Man, and you're watching Gaming Off the Grid. Remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
We are less than 1 month out of the Wii U eShop saying, hey, guess what? I do not accept your credit card, son. You cannot download games on my eShop with a credit card any longer. Yes. And one of Nintendo's probably most sought after or collectible consoles right now is the Nintendo 64.
Yes, the stuff is getting out of control pricey. Obviously, the GameCube's really pricey too, but the N64, I know a lot of people going for complete sets, which is absolutely insane because a lot of the games don't hold up. And I know a lot of people think that we shit on the N64 a lot. We like it for some of the games.
Well, and the N64 for me has always been a console. I loved it when it was out.
I played it so much when I was a kid.
Some of my best gaming memories are around this freaking console and the games that it came out with and it pioneered. It was our first Smash, that was the first Mario parties. It did so many things for gaming, but when you go back to it, at least for us, not for everybody, but we're kind of like, I feel like I remember it better in my mind than it is today. But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. The Wii U eShop is closing in March of 2023, but coming up in May, I think May 23rd, you can no longer use credit cards. So then that just creates another barrier of entry to be able to download games to play on your Wii U. And the N64 platform on the Wii U doesn't have a ton of games, but there are some games that are not on the Switch N64 app through the expansion pack.
So we're diving into the apps, comparing what it is on the eShop compared to loose and CIB prices. We've done two prior. We've done the TurboGrafx 16, and then we've done the DS, and now we're doing the N64.
Yeah.
Half these games, I would say, are on the Switch, so you have the Switch expansion pack, which I think is $50 a year. Yep. You have access to these games. If you don't have the Switch, but you have a Wii U, this is a great way to get your N64 fix. Let's jump into the first game. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Fantastic.
One of the best Zelda games ever made.
This game is available on the Switch online, but on the Wii U eShop, it's $9.99. All the N64 games are $9.99.
Across the board, yep.
This game loose is $39.03. CIB, $130.22. So we've ranked these by loose prices just because the CIB is out of control for the N64. But man, $39 to $10. That's almost 4 times the difference.
And this is one of those, in my opinion, rare games on the N64 that does play very well. It plays just about like how I remember it, and it's one of the best Zelda games ever made. So Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, if you don't currently have a way to play it, you don't have your old N64, your old cartridges, you don't have maybe the remake 3DS version or whatever laying around, and you don't have a Nintendo Switch, you can play the game for $9.99 on your Wii U.
Now moving on to a fantastic franchise that needs to come back. F-Zero X. I love the F-Zero games.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal, but Mario Kart's like their top jewel. This game is available on the Switch, but on the Wii U eShop, it's $9.99. This game loose is going for $41.50 and CIB $126.41. So really pricey, about 4 times here as well. And we're getting our numbers from PriceCharting.com in case you were wondering. And these numbers will change, daily, but this is what they are right now, the day of filming.
And this game is hammer on the N64.
It's so good.
I think the best version of the game happened the generation after this on the Nintendo GameCube, but F-Zero X is so much freaking fun. When they brought it to the Switch expansion pack app or whatever, I was like, okay, let's freaking go.
Yeah, let's go. It's phenomenal. Now moving on. I just mentioned this, Mario Kart 64. This game is available on the Switch as well, obviously, because it's Mario Kart. $9.99 on the Wii U eShop. This game is $43 loose and $131.50 CIB.
Yeah, this game's never going to go down in value. This is one of those, fistful of games that if somebody buys an N64...
They gotta have it.
And they're on their little nostalgic horse and they're like, I gotta have some N64 games. This is one of them that everybody's going to buy.
And this is a great, I still do party 4-player N64.
Yep.
There's a local barcade that has Mario Kart 64 on the projector. It looks like garbage, but it's so much fun to sit down with 4 people, and it's phenomenal.
It is. The series, I think, has had way better entries, beyond this. But at the time, when Mario Kart 64 came out, it was a huge deal and a huge leap ahead of the Super Mario Kart. So.
And moving on to Mario Party 2. This game is phenomenal. It started the Mario... obviously this one didn't, but Mario Party was born on the N64.
Yep.
Mario Party 2, $9.99 on the Wii U eShop. It is $44.92 loose and $155.93 CIB. And
ding,
Mario
ding, ding.
Party 2 is not available on the Switch yet.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's coming, but they release new games monthly. So potentially all the games that are not on the Switch could be added.
That is a fantastic point, and I would add to it that there's no Mario Party 64 games on the Switch app. There's
That's
not only
weird.
not 2, there's not 1, there's
maybe because there's a lot of mini games that use the unique control scheme, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why they couldn't do it. And maybe they're promoting the new Mario parties. I don't know.
Who knows?
But that's a weird one. Moving on to Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. Shards. Because Kirby's known for his shards.
Yeah.
This is a game I've never actually played before. I'm not a big fan of the Kirby games just in general, but $9.99 on the Wii U eShop. This game is going for $46 loose and over $200 for CIB Kirby 64. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent game. I'm with you, though. I'm not a huge fan of the Kirby games. I think my favorite Kirby game ever was Kirby Pinball on the Game Boy. I love that game.
I like the one on the Wii U.
Oh, yeah, the Rainbow Curse.
Rainbow
Curse.
Curse.
With the stylus, you have to do the little, draw the stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty damn good game, and I think it's got a pretty good following, that game does. Another awesome entry on the Wii U that we're going to talk about is a Japan-only game. And for the longest time growing up, there was a buzz around this game. Oh my god, I wish we had it over here. Wish we could play it. It became a release on the Nintendo Wii, and you could play it in the Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah.
But it then also was parlayed over to the Wii U, and that's Sin and Punishment, Japan-only game. Now, you can either mod your 64 so that you can play games from different regions, or I think there's a way of workaround where you can use a Game Shark.
Yeah, if you put a Game Shark in, it basically hacks and mods your console for you, so you can play those region-locked games. Sin and Punishment is available on the Wii U eShop. It's also available on the Switch, which is really crazy because it's Japan only. This game, loose, is $59.49, almost $60, and then CIB $122.66. It's crazy that Japan only, it's on the Switch. It's just cool that we have access to it. It's weird that it was only Japan only, but it's one of it's a staple game.
It's an iconic game. A lot of people wanted to play it, and then had an awesome sequel on the Nintendo Wii as well. More Zelda love. Majora's Mask, kind of maybe the controversial N64 game, because a lot of people didn't like some of the mechanics of this game, the time system and all those type of things. I happen to love it. It's a little darker than Ocarina of Time. Zelda, Majora's Mask.
Yes, this game is also available on the Switch, so if you have it, you have it. On the Wii U eShop, this is $9.99. And then, loose for Majora's Mask, $71.09, and then CIB, over $200. Yikes. I can't imagine collecting CIB N64. That's I can't even.
We have a few CIB that we just have had my whole life, but yeah, we don't buy anything on the 64 CIB because of the prices. Paper Mario. This game is iconic. They did a fantastic job with it, and it's climbing up there in price for sure. It's an $81 game loose.
Yikes.
The game's over 300 CIB.
Holy crap.
In line with everything else, it's only $9.99 on the Wii U eShop.
Now, this is another one that is available on the Switch. So a lot of these are available on the Switch, which is super nice. But if you don't have the online, or if you don't have a Switch, but you have a Wii, it's just great ways to play it. The last two games we're going to talk about are not available on the Switch, though.
As of today, yeah.
And the price differences are absolutely insane. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Harvest Moon 64. $9.99 on the Wii U eShop. $84 loose. $300 CIB.
Pretty wild.
insane.
Yeah, the Harvest Moon games are not really our style.
But they have like kind of a cult following.
Yes, yep. And the Harvest Moon 64 was a big deal when it was out. Again, was not a game I played, not a game I probably ever will play, but the value is here. And I think, you know, there could be somebody watching, we've mentioned this in our other episodes, well, I would just emulate these games. That's awesome. You do you.
Good for
we
you.
know that is possible. N64 emulation can be a little dodgy, but for the casual gamer, a lot of folks don't have modded consoles. So you gotta put things in perspective. We've got some modded consoles, but most folks that have a console laying around, like how many people outside of like hardcore gamers and people on YouTube do you know that have modded consoles?
I bet most people don't even know that's a thing.
Yeah.
They just have a console that's there. You know what I mean?
So for someone that's just sitting around and they're like, man, you know what? I remember playing Harvest Moon 64 and I wish I could play it and it's not on my Switch. Well, if you have a Wii U in your closet, it's a good option to play it for $9.99.
Yeah, and get it before the credit card support is shut down. Obviously, once the credit card support is shut down, you can still get games. You just got to jump through another hoop and get Nintendo eShop cards or do it all. Yeah, it's just confusing. Then moving on to the last game. This is a game that I honestly have never heard of before. Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber.
Yeah, it's like a strategy RPG.
Yeah.
More of a top-down view. Actually looks... I mean, obviously, when you're kind of top-down strategy-based RPGs, graphics aren't, like, over the top, but this game looks really good.
Yeah, for being a 64 game, I was like, whoa, it actually looks decent.
Yeah.
But on the Wii U eShop, obviously, it's $9.99. Loose. This game is $124.94. CIB, $312.50. For Ogre Battle, a game I've never even heard of.
Yeah, and I think you already mentioned...
Been a, small print or whatever.
It's not on the Switch expansion pack app. And with all of these type of things, even if you're a hardcore collector, and you're like, man, I've heard good things about any of these games, but I'm not sure I want to cough up north of 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100, why not dabble with it? Why not play it? And if you're not a collector, and you're like, I just want to play the games, what a low barrier of entry.
So cool to have N64 games available on your Wii U.
Yeah.
I've said it before in the other episodes in this miniseries we're doing. The Wii U is a one-stop shop for all your different consoles. If you have one console in your game room, and it's the Wii U, you can play mostly everything.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
And for those of you who are into modding things, it's a very easy console to mod. But even stock, you have access to so many things. We keep saying low barrier of entry. Low barrier of entry. Over and over in all these episodes. But that barrier of entry, it's low, but it's about ready to go away.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be gone forever. So
yeah.
You have two options.
Yeah, if you're like, God, why are you talking about the Wii U so much? It's because we're running out of time to talk about the Wii U, and it's a call to action. If you're an N64 fan and you've got a Wii U laying around and you want to spend $20-$30 and some of these games maybe you never played, that window is going to be shut very soon. We're a couple weeks out from that going down.
We're just getting to the point where the eShop's going to be gone forever. We love the Wii U, and we just do these videos just to raise awareness.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people to be like, oh man, I wish I would have done that.
Yep.
If you're watching our channel, we're saying, do this, so then you don't regret it later.
We mentioned it in the last episode in this series, but there is not a month that goes by where someone says, man, I wish I would have got this game on the Wii eShop, like the Rebirth games and some of those games that were never physically released. And they're like, but I never did. We get so many of those comments that it tells you those people don't know or aren't modding their consoles.
Yeah.
They feel like the opportunity's gone forever. I think a lot of people fall into that camp. And
that's why we're trying to do this. And this is like part 3 of like a 7 or 8 mini series where we're gonna dive into every console on the Wii U and do a market analysis, kind of.
Yeah.
Just because, dude, the games are so cheap. It's a great low barrier of entry for all these great games.
I know so many people. When I go through this list, I think about folks that I've met in my life that they fall in love with 1 or 2 games and they go hardcore on it, and then they don't really game much anymore. Paper Mario on the 64 falls into that category. I've got numerous close friends that went hammer on that game.
It was incredible.
And if they wanted to play it again, there's no possible way they would pay $80 to do it. They would never do that.
Because they're like, $80 for a video game? It's absolutely insane.
Freak collectors like us, like some of you watching, you'd be like, oh, I'd do that all day long. But that's not the norm. Most people
we're freaks,
that are
guys.
grown man-childs don't have a bunch of toys and video games laying around. And so, but if they were like, man, I want to play Paper Mario, it's only $9.99, that's doable.
Yeah,
that is
it's
doable.
a great way to play it.
And I think some of these things, we get comments a lot that say, I had no idea I could play those games on the Wii U. They
Yeah.
forget, because they maybe haven't turned their Wii U on in like 4 years.
Exactly. That's why we're doing these videos. Just so if you're a diehard and you know, that's all right. We're just trying to show everybody.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this beer. We've been on a Barntown kick lately. Speaking of being a kid, you remember caramel apple suckers? They were my favorite candy growing up. This is the caramel apple sour by Barntown Brewery. I honestly think this is the first gluten-free beer we've ever done.
Probably.
Which is crazy. This is a gluten-free sour with green apple and caramel flavors. There's a caramel apple on it. And guess what? It tastes just like a caramel apple sucker. 100%.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
It is. It's unbelievably good. I love the color. It kind of reminds me of like Ecto Cooler, like back in the day. It's exactly what it says it is, and it's freaking amazing.
So good. And this is a beer that if I don't like beer, you would like this.
Yeah. If you like caramel apple suckers,
if you like caramel apple suckers, you would drink this. And go, I can get drunk.
Do you remember like when you'd go trick or treating and you'd be pretty happy if someone gave you a caramel apple sucker? You'd be like, "That's a good house,
dude." Yeah.
Well. That's what this beer
Barntown
like,
is
takes,
a great house.
It is, but it takes me back to that time, that just nostalgic time of, you know, you're just freaking eating candy like crazy, drinking soda, playing video games.
Dude, that's what it is. Like, I'm nostalgic for caramel apple pops. I'm nostalgic for the N64. Full circle, baby. But I will say, this beer holds up. The N64 doesn't.
Hot take.
Hot take.
The clock is ticking. It is almost that date, the May 23rd, 2022, where you can no longer use your credit cards for the Wii U eShop. That also applies to DS-related consoles as well. We're really diving in, though, here on the Wii U, but just figured I would add that as a little factoid. You've got all the way till March of 2023, but I feel like that card support is when
most people will stop.
I think 80% of people will not buy things on the eShop
because
anymore.
it's so easy right now to get on with your credit card and do it. After this closes, you'll have to get Nintendo eShop cards. You have to go to the store, buy those, and then it's just really tough to do it. So, yeah, 80% of the people will stop after this date, which is coming up in literally a couple weeks.
Just ringing the bell, bringing awareness. If you're an N64 fan and you have a Wii U, your Wii U can play games, N64 games that you maybe haven't played for years and years and years, and you just don't want to cough up your hard-earned money on a physical release.
Yep.
So we appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. And if you got a Wii U laying around, the clock is ticking. You better jump on that eShop and get some things done. We'll see you next time right here on the one and only Gaming Off the Grid. This next game is pretty unique because it's a Japan-only game. And unless you have a console that is modded to play, you know, region... This bad boy. Oh. Damn.
It tastes just like the sucker. Dude, it's so sugary.
I don't know how that's beer.